Good evening, Facebook. Tony Swan coming into you today on a very special day for me. Bung lip and all, but you'll have to get over that. So my live today was titled Happy Anniversary to Me. So, and also, do you believe in signs? Give me some love if you're watching. Say hi, tell me where you're coming from. If you catch me on the replay, hashtag replay so that I know where you're from. So it's my anniversary today. My anniversary as to when I started my amazing journey and transformation. And I put in the heading, do you believe in signs? Because today in Power Hour, we were challenged to listen to a podcast and relate it to ourselves. And we were also challenged to open a current book we're reading at a random page and see if something on that page resonated with us. And funny, I did that. I took the book I was reading, opened it up to a random page, and there was a sign in the book. And then while I was driving tonight, I've got an hour drive up to my partner's, so I chose a podcast to listen to. And it was a random podcast about women in business, but she had a special guest come on and he told a story. And hi, Lynn, thanks for watching. And he told this story in the podcast that so resonated with me. So it got me thinking to, do you believe in signs? And, he talked about the fact that he was a plumber by trade and he was stuck in the family business and expected to take over the business from his father. And the woman that held the podcast is a lawyer by trade, and she's now gone into health and wellness and she's doing these podcasts. And so in the podcast, they were talking about how change has to come from even the most smallest beginning. So he couldn't change working for his family because he was expected to be in the business. So he took the chance and bought a plane ticket and moved away from his family. And then it was just crazy. From there, he also did that because he was stuck in this environment where all his friends used to heavily drink and smoke weed. And so he just was in what we call a life trap. And the reason I'm talking about this is because my book is called, Reinventing Your Life. And in the book that I'm reading, it's all about life traps. So the coincidence for me today and the sign for me today was this podcast was talking about exactly this. And this man was talking about his life trap. So we often get stuck in these life traps. And until we can recognize the life trap and we can change your life trap, what ends up happening is you repeat the same mistake over and over and over again until you correct it. Now, it's really interesting because this is in my book that I've been reading. And if you want to get some information about the book, I'm happy to share. But it starts as early as your childhood. Your life trap and the cycle that you get stuck in your life starts as early as your childhood. And our memories are triggered by what happens to us when we're very, very young. And that's your destined path for your life trap. Now, you're not going to be stuck in that life trap forever if you can learn to recognize your life trap. That's correct, Lynn. You have to learn from your mistakes. And guess what? At the ripe old age of 50, nearly 50, I've started to learn from my mistakes. Now, my life trap, I definitely now know what it is and continued to make those same mistakes until just recently. And so what I'm talking about today all ties into my anniversary, my very special anniversary of the day that I decided to change my life. I'm going to try to hold it together. So on the 21st of January, 2 years ago, I decided to make a small change towards changing my life. And I made a phone call and decided to start the amazing program that helped me lose my weight. And I'm not there yet. I'm nearly there. I'm going to go one more round to go. And that change was the beginning in changing my life trap. What then persevered in the process of me changing my eating habits and clean eating. Thanks for the love, Lynn. I'm trying to hold it together. Thank you, darling. In the process of losing the weight and being in counseling, I started to talk about the deep emotional traumas that have held me back in my life. The next thing that happened was a very sad process, but a very necessary one, of leaving my husband. And if you watch this, Kelly Swan, I will always love you. You are the father of my beautiful children and a very big part of my life. But he was a life trap for me also. He was a mistake for me now. At the time, he wasn't a mistake. And I loved him, and I still love him, and he will always be in my heart. And we have a great relationship looking after our children. But we weren't right for each other. And until I corrected, again, another life trap, which again comes from your childhood. This book is amazing. And having to let go of him in order to move into the next stage of my life and become who I am becoming now. So I'm getting a bit off topic here, but what I wanted to talk about is just find those signs in life and find your passion. And this plumber, going back to the guy in the story, he's completely changed his life as well. He was, it was just so resonated with me. He was overweight. He was an alcoholic and completely changed his business. And, he just talked about, not finding any more excuses and, one change leading to the next change, which led to the next change. And that's exactly what happened to me. And it's still happening to me. I'm still embracing change in my life. And it is scary. Like, change is scary. But when you take that first step, and that first step might be reaching out to me today. That first step might be having enough strength to put that chocolate biscuit down. That first step might be making a phone call to a friend and saying, I need help. Whatever your first step is, take it. Take it. Because being stuck in your life trap is no way to live. So happy anniversary to me. I'm 2 years in and I am becoming the best version of myself ever. Good night, Facebook.